Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, so I'm sure you're all basking in the glory of yet another Ripple victory. The SEC have dismissed their charges against Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, which is great news to see. But I've just got to say this, right? And I don't really see many people really talking about this. Is this really that great for XRP? Let me explain this and my thoughts, right? So we know that the SEC filed an interlocutory appeal, right? To try and obviously do a speedy process to appeal the ruling against XRP with Judge Torres's decision. And that got denied. Okay, so the first thing we've got to say from that is that we know that they want to appeal that decision, right? We know that's pretty clear because they tried to do the interlocutory appeal. Now, one of the things that I said when the Judge Torres verdict came through, I said this in the video, the exact video I made when they won. I said, if I was Brad Garlinghouse and I was Chris Larsen at this point, I would not settle with the SEC now for their charges against them. Why? The case already looks weak at this point, so it doesn't look like they're going to win, right? So what I would do is, because I know at that point if they file the interlocutory appeal and it gets denied, which was the high probability outcome, which is what happened, they then have to wait for that case to be settled. And when I say settled, I don't mean as in a settlement, I mean as in a verdict has to be given as to whether they're guilty or not guilty, right? Or whether they're going to be fined. They will have to wait until that court case is over until they can then file a appeal against the Judge Torres decision. So what I would do if I was Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen is I would play that court case, knowing that it's very likely I'm going to win now because they've already lost on the XRP verdict already. So their case looks very weak, right? And I would just keep stalling them. I would do exactly what the SEC did. I would do delay tactics, right? Keep kicking the can down the road, making it longer. So before they even get a chance to try and file an appeal, it's going to be years, right? And at that point, they might even just give up. They might be like, okay, we've had regulatory clarity come in now and all that kind of stuff. So is there really any point in us even trying to fight this anymore? You know, there could be another person in the office who's taken over Gary Gensler at that point. Do you see what I mean? Like, I would be doing that kind of play. So the thing that I'm thinking here is, have the SEC dismissed this trial so they could speed up the process to try and appeal Judge Torres' decision, right? Because, look, we can see the ego on Gary Gensler. He's not liking how this is looking, and I'm sure he's under a lot of political pressure right now. We've seen him getting grilled in Congress, etc., that kind of thing. He's got people on his own party who are against him because of the way he's working. So he's not liked, right? And I know this is going to have killed him to have dismissed these charges. I know he didn't like this. And for me, I don't know if he's really just going to take this line down, especially as we know he filed the interlocutory appeal. So we know that they didn't like the decision and they want to fight this decision. So in my head, what I'm thinking here is, okay, we'll dismiss this case, move that out the way, and then we'll go ahead and appeal this decision. Because think about it, right? In my opinion, when they did the whole lawsuit against Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, I don't think that was really the prime target there. I think that was a scare tactic. And I think that was to try and hopefully get them to bend to the SEC's will, right? I think they put the lawsuit against XRP, selling the securities of XRP, and they added on the lawsuit against Brad and Chris to try and get them scared and make them think, oh, this is real serious. Like maybe we should just do whatever they want to do, right? But obviously they decided to fight, and that's gone in their favor now. And so this has really played to their advantage. And I think the SEC know, one, that they can't win that lawsuit. Well, I'm not going to say they can't win, but I think they know it's very unlikely they're going to win that lawsuit now because of the ruling with Judge Torres. And I think, two, that was never the main prime target anyway. The target, in my opinion, was XRP. We already know what was going on with ETHgate and that kind of stuff. I think the whole thing really is about XRP and trying to stifle the innovation of XRP. So Brad and Chris were just kind of, they were just casualties of war, right? Like they were just caught in the crossfire of this. I don't think they was really ever the people that they was really trying to hurt or anything like that. I think the main target was trying to stifle XRP. And so with them dismissing this case now, they can go straight to filing an appeal now at this point. So they've just cut out years of a process of what they'd have had to have waited to appeal to they can now go and appeal as soon as possible, right? Now, will they win? Obviously, I don't know, but let's just be honest here for just 1 second. We had the whole court case with Terra, right? And you had the judge in the Terra case who said he doesn't agree with Judge Torres's decision. So the thing that we can say here is that not everyone is on the same page when it comes to this. There are people with differing opinions. Now, I'll be honest with you, I think that is a different scenario. I don't think you can actually correlate the two. I don't think you can. You can't really compare the two. But that's not the point, right? If a judge thinks that, a judge thinks that, right? So if they get a different judge and they think like the Terra judge, well, they're just going to have their opinion. And so if it's a different judge or they go to the Second Circuit for appeals, that kind of thing, who knows who's going to be on the panel who might agree with the SEC. Do you see what I'm saying? So we've already seen that there are differing opinions here. And if you go on Twitter, like you can see people for and against the ruling. So obviously as an XRP holder, I was overjoyed with the ruling and I think it was the right call. But not everybody thinks that, right? And so it's not to say that I think Judge Torres got it wrong. I think there might be another judge who gets it wrong. And that's something that we can't really guarantee. Now, I'll be honest, do I think the odds of the ruling getting overturned are, any chance high? Probably not, because she really, like every time she smacked something down, she's been able to provide very good evidence as to why she smacked it down. So everything, like when she denied the interlocutory appeal, it was pretty clear. She explained it thoroughly why she's denying it. So she's got very good grounds as to why she's not agreeing with the SEC. And I don't think they're going to have much to contend with in that sense. So I think it's very likely the appeal gets dismissed anyway. But that's not the point. There's no guarantees. That's the thing. And so I'm just a little bit cautious with this. Like, yes, I'm glad to see this, but at the same time, I'm like, I get the feeling this isn't the end. Like, I really don't think Gary Gensler is just going to take this lying down. And it's funny because all this pressure actually comes on Gary when it was actually Jay Clayton who filed the lawsuit. Now, don't get me wrong, Gary hasn't tried to show any kind of opposing view, so he's kind of took on the lawsuit himself anyway and, agreed with it, so he's just as bad. But it's funny because Jay Clayton doesn't get a lot of the heat because he left on the day he put the lawsuit in. So he's really got away with this in a sly way because he put the lawsuit through and then he's left and, the pressure's on Gary. All eyes are on Gary. No one's going to Jay Clayton and saying, well, you was the one who put the lawsuit in. So he's done it in a very sly way, a very clever way, I'll say. Like, not that I like what he did, but he was clever because he's took the heat off him. All the heat's on Gary, right? Because he probably knew this was a case that might not really work out in their favor because he knew it was bogus. So, it's very interesting, but I thought I'd just quickly do this video just to give you guys just a bit of a different perspective out here, because I know a lot of people are celebrating and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that I'm not celebrating. I'm just a little cautious here because I don't think this is just the SEC being like, okay, we're wrong. We surrender and that's it, waving the white flag. I feel like there's more to this. I feel like there's an agenda behind this. And knowing the ego of Gary Gensler, I don't think he's going to take this lying down. I don't think he's just going to accept that as a defeat and move on, because I think him even dismissing this lawsuit is going to really hurt him and his ego. I really think he's had a big blow to his pride here. So I think now they're just going to try and speed up and go through with the appeal of XRP. And just quickly to add to that, I know a lot of you guys will probably say, well, they've already said that they won't challenge that XRP is not a security, so it's fine. I'm not so sure I'm convinced of that, right? Because if we just look at how the SEC acted when there was in the lawsuit, did they in any way act honest? Was they not talking out of both sides of their mouth? Was they not saying one thing and then saying a completely different other thing? Was they not saying that, hey, this is what the SEC are saying, but then when they come to saying, oh, well, this is what the SEC said, they're saying, oh, well, no, that's just an opinion. That's just an opinion of that department, but that still stands because it's still that department. There was literally just changing their stances numerous times, and they was contradicting themselves. Because let's look at it like this, right? why would you appeal the verdict in the first place if you agree that XRP isn't a security? So what's the appeal for? Because they won part of the lawsuit, but then they're saying that they didn't agree with the other part of the lawsuit that they lost on, right? So they clearly have an issue with what the ruling is. So I don't believe that this is them saying, oh, we're not going to try and, maneuver this in some kind of way. I think they will try and spin it. I really do. So when everyone's saying, they've said they won't go after XRP, I think if they can get that victory overturned, I think they will try and make it in a way as to basically effectively make it so that XRP is still a security. I think that's the whole point, because if that's not the point, why file an appeal in the first place? If you agree with what the judges said, why file an appeal? Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody else could point that out and explain that to me, but I don't see it at the moment. So I'm not really just jumping for joy just yet. I'm like cautiously optimistic at the moment. So we'll see how this goes. But what do you guys think? Maybe you followed this a little bit more than I have. Maybe you've looked at different lawyers who have spoke on this. I've been looking at Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton. I don't really think I've heard anything specific about that, what I'm saying here. So, but if you have, maybe you've been on X a lot more than me, so you've seen specific things of this being addressed that I haven't. Let me know, because definitely give me peace of mind, because I'm still here like, not so sure if this is so great at the moment. But, it would be nice to have that weight lifted off my shoulders, because I'm always cautious when it comes to the SEC. Like, we've seen what they're capable of, so I don't put anything past them. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys, about this. And if you have the same concerns, again, let me know. I'll be interested to hear. So drop a comment, guys. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.